why am I still working on this project 10 years later? That is a good question. I sent emails out to people who I've had some sort of association with. And I just said, hey, would you be interested in this project about Black choreographers, about the diversity of Black dance and what's going on now in contemporary culture. And for a while it was like Christmas, like people wrote me back.
The choreographers that you are bringing to the fore are invisibilized. And because they deal with the texture and feeling of being African American in society, which Jowly said also, and certainly which they all say, David Rousseff, Reggie, everybody, that because you're dealing with that, you are bringing to the fore an American experience that happens to be, if you will, a Black experience. But I mean, it's something that Americans need to know about.
I would say in each of these encounters that you have with these artists, we get the sense of how that political is operating. Maybe it's about gender politics when you're working with a female-identified choreographer or a male-identified choreographer who needs you to be a certain kind of woman in these pieces, or maybe they need you to be a certain kind of energy that's not masculine or feminine, it's androgynous. But these are interventions into the political that help the performance do more than simply stand as kind of aesthetic action.
How do we as Black bodies interrupt this environment, this space, the history of performance, the history of dance, the history of Blacks in dance.
The section that you saw is called Father Blues. He's being told to, no matter where he is in the world, no matter what he's doing, always carry with him his father's blues. Always remember where he came from. No matter what, how great or how rocky or whatever, remember where you came from. Remember your center.
My mama, my mama, my mama hum the blues.
There's no way that I could even make what I make without paying homage and attention to all of the artists who have come before me. And so this project, again, helps me to land and to understand, the conversation that I'm continuing, to have a deep sense of the historical and where I've been and what was and what has come before, that has allowed me to be such a radical presence and to break so many rules.
In the sense of, working on the idea of identity or touch or something that might be more obviously socio-political. But I feel that I kind of rely on the mysterious. I really am more of an intuitive choreographer.
Well, I think in a lot of ways my aesthetic is conscious now. I'm aware of a certain kind of athleticism that I use in my work, and ferocity and velocity. I'm aware of how I intentionally want to connect what I do on stage to sometimes issues that are affecting the community that I identify with the most, which is probably the African American community. It's the community I grew up in. Even though I'm a member now or feel like I'm connected to multiple communities, I always see that as my primary community.
You know, when you're reaching at the beginning and you're reaching, try to keep everything else still. All my earlier work of 10 years ago had a real straight up, straightforward political edge to it. And I think now the difference is I've gotten a lot more comfortable in the composition of the work. Unfortunately, it has a need to talk about the same issues of race and gender, sexuality, politics, because we don't seem to be making a lot of what I would call progress on those fronts.
I like organizing and telling people what to do. And if I can get people to pay attention and do it like afterwards, after I've told, and it can stand on its own, that's really exciting.
A few themes keep resurfacing, and one of them is family. I love not just my family, making work about my family, but I'm very interested in other people's family, genealogy, tradition, culture, religion, spirituality.
I know that the dances that I've done that have lived so continually are dances that are not just something of the moment. They have to deal with the human experience. They deal with things that are universal. You're going to eat and sleep, have hunger, have joy, have sorrow, because those things are human.
It goes without saying that, of course, these are 7 different experiences and that you are one person. But you contain multitudes, and you in the best way, assume that the audience contains multitudes as well. Oh, sorry.
I was like,
I was actually feeling my feet, but yeah, okay.